Just your name and who the question's for.
Marilyn Stone, I'm the Executive Director of the Unemployed Health Centre. So a comment, we're a not-for-profit organisation, but we actually do assist to drive the local economy. It's not always thought of in that way. I brought with me today some brochures I will pass out to everybody. It's the Canada-Ontario Job Grant, and we can provide up to $10,000 to offset the training costs per person. So when I'm hearing about all these wonderful initiatives, I just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. And we can also offset any hiring costs. So I do hope that when the Chambers of Commerce and other people, when they start thinking about driving the local economy, that they can access agencies like ours to also learn what other initiatives the provincial and federal government has in place to help offset your costs and to actually drive the local economy. So I'm always very pleased to be pleased to hear about the initiatives, and also hoping that at some point, and we've worked with economic development to help drive the local economy. So more of a comment. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
If I could comment, Marilyn, it's very important, and what you ought to know is 24 months ago, we spent a lot of hours with Jason Kenney, then Federal Minister Kenney, on the Canada Jobs Grant, because Ontario was going to lose out roughly $400 million to that, and we helped them to actually frame that so that NGOs like yourself can be doing exactly what you're doing.
Well, thank you.
That's a new model.
Thank you. And also I noticed as well that I'm also the leader of the Pickering Welcome Centre, and we have a lot of internationally trained professionals who walk through our door. Tens of thousands of job seekers walk through our door. And that's engineers, there's chemical analysts, technicians, technologists. You asked for it, we've got it. It's not always low skilled, low educated. We have highly educated, highly skilled. We've got the people you need. So I will be going around dropping these off. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Robert, you have a question?
Maybe just to kick off, it's Bob Malcolmson. In regards to economic development, George, I'm going to put you on the spot. I noticed the number of jobs or industries you've attracted over the years is going up every year. How many people are coming to Durham Region? And if they're not coming to Durham Region, maybe you can give us an insight as to why they're not, and maybe we can get the other three panelists to chime in. And I think one of it happens to be sometimes we don't have enough developed industrial land available for development. So if you'd chime in, because we got to work collaboratively and we need to understand what are we doing wrong.
Thanks, Bob. That's a question that has many different aspects to it. But first of all, we bring a lot of people to Durham Region. We work closely with the Economic Development Department, Kathy's group. Whenever we have companies that are visiting the GTA, we include our regional partners in there and try to get those companies to visit as many regions as possible. Or we have meetings that take place, and we invite the regional economic development departments to meet with those companies and talk about what opportunities they offer to them. Service land, I'll get that off the table right away. In the projects that we work on currently, we have had little request for service land. The companies that we meet with are generally looking for office space, available office space, and manufacturing space. So that is one key element of an attractiveness for a region. Is there enough office space that they can be shown? Is there enough manufacturing space? Are there enough manufacturing buildings that would be of interest to them? And the challenge is that there are other communities that might have more office space or more manufacturing space that might be more suitable to a company. So those are some of the factors that they look at. The reality is that when it comes to primarily manufacturing, be it auto parts or other products, many of those products tend to go to the U.S. So a location near a highway system, near an airport, plays a big role in the location of a company. I don't think you've been doing things wrong. It's just a question of having the necessary attractiveness for a company, and frankly, when a company is presented to the region and there are offices or buildings, manufacturing space that might be suitable, if there's some way that that offering can be made more attractive to them, to convince them that they should be in Durham region versus elsewhere. Ultimately, the company is looking for the best deal it can find to locate their facility, and part of that also is the location, but also where the employee is going to come from, and where they're going to be living and working. As I showed you on the earlier slides, a company that locates in the region has a regional impact. So they will be drawing people from wherever those people happen to be, wherever those skills are located. So it's a bit of a response to your question, Bob. Probably a lot more aspects that could be discussed.
Okay, Alan, I see you making notes there.
Yeah, no, I would just say that build on what you already have. When a firm is looking to expand into a market, they're coming into a market either for market access, they want to grow their business and find consumers, or there's a regulatory hurdle or some kind of a requirement. And so I think George and his folks are doing a great job, and you're going to have and he has a big fan in me. People attract people. Communities attract organizations. There's a matrix of energy, labor supply, skilled trades, other things. So that's obvious, and we can go offline to talk about that. I'd like to inspire you to think about something else, and that is you already have business here. You have an industry here. What can you do to help that industry metamorph into its next iteration of life, whatever that may look like? There are a number of small to medium-sized enterprises that surround that. What can you do to work with the people that are already here to help them be successful, to help them metamorph, I guess, if you like, to the next iteration of whatever their organization might be? At a meeting very, very early this morning with some folks that I've worked for many firms along the way. I worked for a $1 billion company that was here 1 year and gone 2 years later. If you're not reinventing, if you're not finding a way to laterally think and take some risk and innovate, you won't be successful. But do not underestimate the power of helping the people that are already here. Pull those firms together. I don't know who they are. They could be suppliers. I don't know who they are. Pull them together. I'll fund a forum for you to do it, and talk to them about what would it take for you to double, grow, and triple your operations here in the Durham region. And you know what? You might be surprised at all it takes is creating the vision to say, this is where we're going to go. Don't worry about the runway or the time. It's 5 years, it's 10 years. Where are we in our current state? Where do we need to get in a future state? And develop a plan. So I'm running on a little bit with that, but don't forget about what you've already got sitting here, because you've got a basis from which to build, notwithstanding the sectors have changed and demand has changed, and I don't see, anyway, I'll stop there.
That's all right. Carlos, did you have a comment?
Well, I guess just to build on what was just said, this idea of where you can go, and when you think of manufacturing in Canada in the past, we've always just focused on the U.S. market, and that was great because it's obviously a much larger market than Canada. But when you have to think now in a global context, and when you think about the global economy, the U.S. is probably less than 20% of that global economy. And so you're having places that are growing much faster, as we pointed out, whether it's the Chinas and the Indias and so forth. And so there's a lot of opportunities to be able to move into those markets. And just sort of talking about autos, for example, we look at the G7 nations have on average, I think it's probably around 600 vehicles per 1,000 people. China is probably only about 88 vehicles per 1,000 people, and Japan probably about, not Japan, but India, it's about 24. So as a region that produces not only cars, but parts for those cars, there's an enormous opportunity outside of North America that you have to start to think about.
Okay, thanks. Sean, we talked earlier on about automobile production in Oshawa and the fact that be nice if you could load them on a special boat and send them to India or China. Do you see that in the future of the Seaway?
There's a lot of opportunity for integrating the supply chain as such. So yes, there might be possibility for, we're talking about import and export. And in an integrated perspective of the supply chains, we're much closer than what we think to the rest of the world. Jim was talking about facts before, okay? And I know there might be distance to us in that discussion, but let's talk about number for a second. Today, moving on water, the cargo that is moving there is avoiding us about $3.6 billion a year Canadian that we would have to spend otherwise. In the area of Toronto, GTA, okay, there's 3% of the cargo on the road that costs about 10 to 12% of our capacity. Okay, think about that. For every dollar of cargo that would be moved, if we can take some of that and put it on water, it would save us $7.8 in medical, in safety, in competitive positioning, and so on and so forth. So integrating our supply chain, road, rail, and marine is the solution of the future. So can we see in the future moving other goods through water instead of, if they are to be exported, instead of going on a rail that can do other things, and the road that will be congested up to our neck right now, can we use these opportunities? Damn, yes, we can.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Any other comments down the table? No? Okay.
Could I just make a
Okay.
comment because it strikes that I'm seeing
Go ahead, Al.
University of
Yeah.
Ontario. Who's here from the University of Ontario, Durham College, or Trent University? Who is here from? Perfect. Okay, that's all I need to know. Good. Work together. You guys are. You know how many communities don't have a college and a university? You have a couple of colleges. You have at least 2 universities. Regions would trip over themselves to have that. Figure out how to work together, because that is a huge asset that you have.
Excellent. Robert, you had another question.
I had one of the members, knowing we were coming here, gave me a question to ask. And basically, for you four gentlemen, Durham region has a deep water port. It has a highway system. The rail spur is soon going into the port, which is going to be another asset. We have a 4,000-foot runway that has Canada Customs and NavCan service. We have, as you've heard, all the education facilities we want. And from your perspective, can you give us insight what your thought is about Durham region? I know you're not from here, most of you, but how would you combine all that together? What are we doing right? What do we need to do to add to it? I mean, I'm very interested in hearing what Jim Little said today about collaboration. I've heard that more than once. I've heard clustering. So just give us your thoughts on the manufacturing. I mean, automotive industry, people have said it's dying. Nuclear's dying. I mean, just a general thought process about Durham region and the assets that we got. Are we using them right, or are we not?
Are the Oshawa Generals getting any better?
As a matter of fact.
I'm a Peterborough Pete.
There you go. Anybody want to start that one?
Well, you know what? I think you're doing it. You're doing it right now. You're doing it right now. You've just outlined the assets that you have. You need to come together with a degree more of clarity, which I think you're getting. What do you want to be? What is this Durham region going to be in the future? We know what it was in the past. What could it be in the future? What are the where are you in your current state? Where do you want to get to? What are the assets that you have that can enable you to get there? You're already doing it, Bob, and so I don't think it's anything more than reflective to understand where you've been. I think it is important to take stock at where you are, and more important than anything is to come together collectively, create your own vision, and then a plan. Is it going to happen by Q3 2015? No. But if you create a vision for this community and for your children or your grandchildren, then you'll realize it in the next 10 years.
Excellent. George, do you have anything to add there? I saw some wheels turning there.
Yes, oh, absolutely. I think 2 quick observations. One,